Hello, beautiful people. Welcome back. I just had to do this. It never ceased to amaze me as I continuously just hear things that are amusing. Quite often, when people bring certain things to me to say, hey, look, this is happening over here. I heard this. I do my best to stay as neutral as possible so as to not play the devil's advocate. Even though I know majority of it has a little bit of lopsidedness to it. So I just try to be as stark as possible, as brief as possible, and tell people to use their discernment. But after being, I just got done speaking to someone and I just couldn't help it. So to those hearing whatever hype, whatever this is going on with CUSIP and those hearing about it, I just want you to hear this and put it into consideration. Whether you're going to hear about it in the future from others and connect the dot as to what I'm saying, I'm not going to mention names here. What can I do with a CUSIP number? As an ordinary investor, CUSIP numbers are not much of use. In other words, they just wrote out about 99% of most people speaking about CUSIP and all that. Just so you know, 99% of those going on about CUSIPs, they're never going to even know how to create it or how to get it. Instead, these are used primarily by brokerage and clearing firms to ensure that transactions are properly settled and recorded. Which goes to show you that when I make videos on PPM and I show you, look, hedge funds, investment fund, these different entities, then orders and due course, so and so, this is what I'm referring to because these guys are the ones that are going to finalize the issuance of CUSIP. See, CUSIPs exist by a specific organization and is issued by a specific organization that contracts with brokerage to only issue it out that way. If someone is telling you they have ISIN number or CINS number or CUSIP number, and you just ask them, which brokerage did you use and what were the three main requirements? Those are the questions you would ask them. What are the three main stages that are required? Which brings me to this. I'm creating a video right now. I'm editing it. It's about 2 hours and a few minutes long. I'm about an hour and 12 minutes into it with the notes and editing. That video is going to lead you somewhere. I left a clue there as to how you're going to get a CUSIP number. But I'm just going to say it here slightly also. I was thinking of creating a webinar for it, but I'm not going to. The fact that I heard this morning, I'm recording this at around 11:30 a.m. The fact that I heard this is the main reason why I'm not going to create that video on how to actually get CUSIP. I'm going to make people get consultations specifically to know how to get it done. But in the process of that, I want you to know in order for you to get CUSIP, you're going to have to learn to perfect a lien. See, most going on about these information and foreign trust and foreign trustee, and I think I'm helping them out a little bit too much. And they're taking it a little bit too far by creating extra speculations so that it's not too clear where they're getting some of these informations from. I know some of them are patron members, but if you want to learn this, I'm not going to make the video on this anymore because these people out here are starting to get comfortable to the point where they're misleading people with some extra rhetoric. But just know that obtaining a CUSIP number is tied to perfecting a lien. How do I look up a CUSIP number? There are several ways to do this. Perhaps the simplest is to request a stock quote on broker's website. I mentioned it before. A CUSIP is just nothing but a simple track number. No different than you will look at a bottle of wine and you see that barcode on it at the back of it, right next to where it tells you, hey, recycle this and the serving size and so on and so on. You see that bar and it has these numbers, A8105, whatever. Well, that's just how you track the item. You can do the same thing with instruments and the property that's acting as a collateral to the instruments. Well, that's just how you track the item. You can do the same thing with instruments and the property that's acting as a collateral to the instruments. Well, that's just how you track the item. You can do the same thing with instruments and the property that's acting as a collateral to the instruments. But in order for you to attach the CUSIP or the stock number to that thing, you have to perfect lien on it. Otherwise, no broker in their right mind would issue a CUSIP, CINS, or ISIN number for you, because there are 3 main stages required. And one of those stages is what I've just pointed out. You have to have a perfected lien. Do you know most people who file liens have not perfected it? The majority of the people that just file liens do not know what it means to perfect a lien. But they hear a lot about many other processes that links based on buzzwords. And this is the emphasis of what I've been saying about the dangers of buzzwords. All these buzzwords people know about and have in their minds are the links in sequence to perfect a lien, which is one stage of the 3 stage to getting a CUSIP number. But I'm going to throw that out there for you and let you know the last memorandum. I won't tell you where it's from, whether it's from an entity, whether it's not from an entity, whether it's just an information somewhere. The last memorandum released on how to really actually get a CUSIP number was released in 2001. That's about 23 years ago, almost a generation ago. If someone was born in 2001 when that last memorandum of how to really get CUSIP, in chronological order, clearly without any speculations, by no special group somewhere. If they were born in 2001, they'll be 23-year-old now. But that method is still true and correct till today. That's where I learned it from. And where I got it from was from a broker, from a broker who worked as a professional trader in the Chicago Stock Exchange. That memorandum is not public anymore. And I was really planning on making a video to put it all together. But after hearing this morning, people are wilding out, man. People are out of control. I'm not making video on it anymore. I think this is something that I will preserve the integrity of. But nonetheless, those jewels that I have left so far is quite a lot. The last jewel I will leave for you is there are 5 different types of CUSIPs. One is called Segment Services CUSIP. The other is called Portfolio Services CUSIP. The third is called Web Services CUSIP. The fourth is something Solution Services. I don't know what it is in fully, but it's something Solution Services. And the fifth is called CGS Database Services. Those are the 5 types of CUSIPs that exist. And depending on the nature of the contract that gave rise to the perfection of that lien, you would get one of those 5 types of CUSIPs. But this video that I'm creating, when it comes to the individual master files, somewhere around the middle, I drop a little bit more jewel. I'm about done with creating videos on Patreon that others will watch, and then add some spin to it that deters from the complete purpose of why the video is created. And people are hearing about this. They see my video, see my posts, and then come to me and say, well, there's someone that's saying this, so this is how it's supposed to be. I can't tell you how many times I facepalmed when someone came to me repeating the same thing that I know someone heard from one of these videos, but I can see where they added their extra. This is the reason why in some of these videos, as of recent, I've been emphasizing, look, if you're going to show other people this, don't remove or add anything. Just say it as it is. The information is not owned by anyone. The least you owe to yourself and others is to not add bullshit to it. If you say it exactly how it is, no one would know that you heard it from someone else before you start telling others about it. But if you add your spice to it, it is very, very easy for someone who knows about it to hear it and go, you're just adding this extra trash. And I know you heard it from this particular source. Again, I emphasize, If you're hearing this and you know you give information to people after hearing this, stop misleading people. It's not even doing you the benefit you think it is. Stop misleading people. All it's going to do ultimately is to hinder the information that you're getting here. It's going to stop it. And then it's subsequently going to affect more people at large. Until next time, take your best of luck.